So today was a bit of a lighter session. I only really focused on isometric holds and kind of laid back on the dynamic exercises, right? Now, essentially, it consisted of just planche and front lever holds, right? But there was, I guess, a major takeaway from today. I looked back at a lot of my prior videos, right? Looking at my planche progression, seeing what I did during that time that allowed for my peak strength, right? And what kind of did I deviate from, or did I kind of neglect that led to my large regression phase, right? So if I had a look, like if I just looked at my session today and saw my straddle planche attempts, there has been no improvement since 2 months ago. So there's 2 months of complete plateau, right? Now that's on the extreme end where you kind of need to start to reconsider how you're training, whether you're lacking variety, and what essentially is the flaw of your approach, right? So my first hypothesis was, well, maybe I'm lacking the physical demand, the physical strength, and therefore I need to focus on higher repetitions, the fundamental base strength, in order for me to redevelop that physical manifestation of what's required for the plant, right? And later on, that's where you almost in like a periodized motion, right? Where you focus on the physical strength, and then later on, you start to have another cycle where you focus on intensity, the neuromuscular adaptation, neuromuscular connection with the planche, understanding the balance, the position, and all that, and then applying that physical strength to the exercise, right? So, in that sense, I was under the assumption that this would benefit me later in the long term run of the planche, and but I did a bit of research. I looked into the handstand push-ups, dips, seeing how well they transition to the planche and what kind of muscles it builds on, like specifically the parts of my shoulder deltoids, so like the anterior, middle fibers, posterior, and all that, and seeing how well that transitions to a skill-based isometric hold, which is the planche, right? And I kind of came to the conclusion that according to other people's experience and in general the anatomy and the physiology of the handstand push-up, it doesn't really recruit the specific muscles, or rather the tendons that have the large demand, or the prime movers, or the prime agonist of the planche, right? So I was thinking, well, if that doesn't really transition all that well, nor am I even feeling much transition, then perhaps I should kind of deviate from that very basic exercise, right? And focus on a common middle ground of specificity and volume, right? So find that middle ground where you're able to provide that extensive stimulus and strength duration while maintaining the integrity of the muscle anatomy used for the planche, and in general, like keeping you primed for the planche. So this consists of like pseudo planche push-ups, tuck planche push-ups. Keep in mind, this is all retrospective things that I'm referring to now. I'm reflecting on the things that in this session I want to start to change, right? Now, that's essentially the new route I'm going to take. Well, tomorrow I'm going to get the vaccine, so I'm probably going to take a bit of a rest, a bit of a break, not push too hard on any of my exercises. So I'll leave that kind of period for some reconsideration, contemplation, and generally just trying to find some variety, like the theory-based stuff behind the planche, right? Because I guess there's only ever so much you can develop and grasp from your own anecdotes, right? Your own experiences. At times, if you see something that works for you in that novelty, right? It may have been not necessarily a coincidence, but not exactly the thing that you're specifically finding out, right? So there's like a level of causation, right? Cause and effect, and you're not too sure which one really works. So it's a good idea to, really grasp perspective from other people that have honed it down to a lot more of a narrow idea and a much stronger transitionary approach to exercises and its ability to adapt to the plant, right? Now, essentially, the way I'm going to structure it, or the general idea, is going to be start off with some static holds, work on static holds that actually provide like some duration. So, not like 1 to 2 second straddle plunge holds. Now, I'm going to consider going back. I'm going to like take away from my pride, just go back to the advanced straddle tuck and do exercises at that level that provide the actual duration where you're able to hold it for a bit longer, right? And that's basically going to be the meat of my training in the future. And I'm going to supplement it with like bent arm, planche exercises. So like tuck planche exercise, tuck planche push-ups, and pseudo planche push-ups. Aside from that, I did a bit of tuck level work here. And from this, essentially, I feel like I'm improving a bit, mainly because I haven't really worked on the tuck planche, and I guess neurologically I'm trying to understand this lever a bit more, so thus I'm able to adapt better. But that's basically it, and I'll finish it off here.